A building survives an earthquake on a single, uncompromising condition. It must maintain a continuous, uniform load path to transfer seismic forces from the roof straight down into the foundation. That perfect uniformity is an engineering ideal. Real-world architecture demands open parking floors, L-shaped footprints, and staggered elevations to function. These architectural features create structural traps. They break the vertical load path and force seismic energy to concentrate at specific, highly vulnerable nodes. The Bureau of Indian Standards strictly regulates these traps through IS 1893 Part 1, 2016. Tables 5 and 6 of this code mathematically define these specific architectural choices as plan and vertical irregularities. This photograph shows the direct result of ignoring a vertical irregularity. The flexible ground floor collapsed entirely, while intact upper stories pancaked down onto the rubble. Here is another catastrophic load path failure. The base level yielded entirely, causing the intact structure above to tilt into a severe angle. Triggering even a single irregularity clause in IS 1893 strips the structural engineer of the right to use the equivalent static method. This simplified linear analysis technique distributes seismic forces assuming a regular structural response. Instead, the code mandates complex 3D dynamic analysis. To help you run these exact code checks, we have linked specific IS 1893 calculators for plan irregularities, vertical irregularities, torsion, and floating columns in the video description below. In seismic engineering, a building's total lateral force capacity is meaningless if its geometric configuration forces all of that shear stress into a single, isolated weak point. To understand how these failures happen, we start with a top-down plan view to examine IS 1893 Table 5, Plan Irregularities. In a perfectly regular building, the center of mass aligns exactly with the center of resistance. When lateral forces hit, the floor translates smoothly. But if mass or stiffness is asymmetric, the center of mass separates from the center of resistance. This distance is static eccentricity. When seismic force applies, the entire floor plate violently twists. IS 1893 Amendment 2 defines this torsional irregularity. It is triggered when extreme edge displacement, delta M, exceeds 1.2 times the average displacement, delta A. We see similar stress concentrations when we modify a standard square footprint into an L-shaped building plan, introducing a re-entrant corner. The code defines a re-entrant corner mathematically. It occurs when a plan projection extends beyond 15% of the overall plan dimension in that specific direction. Physically, this L shape forces the two separate building wings to vibrate at slightly different frequencies during an earthquake. They pull against each other, causing massive tearing forces to accumulate rapidly at the internal corner notch. Table 5 also categorizes floor cutouts exceeding 50. Under dynamic seismic loading, this flexibility becomes a trap. The open ground floor columns buckle under extreme lateral sway, dropping the intact upper structure downward. While a soft story is a failure of stiffness, a weak story is strictly a defect of strength. The weak story threshold is crossed when the lateral shear capacity of a story is less than 80% of the story above it. The column experiences brittle diagonal shear cracking and yields entirely before any significant bending or drift can occur. Because open parking levels lack structural walls, they routinely trigger both soft and weak story conditions simultaneously. Confusing stiffness, which governs excessive drift, with strength, which governs shear failure, is a fatal professional blind spot. IS 1893 forces engineers to calculate and verify them as completely separate physical phenomena to prevent collapse. Table 6 also regulates mass irregularity. This occurs when a heavy, localized load, like a mechanical plant room or a massive swimming pool, is placed on an intermediate upper floor. The code triggers a mass irregularity warning when the seismic weight of any specific floor exceeds 1.5 times the weight of the adjacent floors. This sudden mass jump locally amplifies inertial forces. Since force equals mass times acceleration, the heavy floor draws disproportionate seismic energy directly to that specific elevation. The most severe disruption to the vertical load path is the floating column. This upper-level column terminates abruptly onto a horizontal transfer beam, severing the path to the foundation. During an earthquake, vertical shaking causes the column to act like a piston. It punches down hard, forcing the horizontal transfer beam to absorb extreme shear and bending stress. Amendment 2 of IS 1893 strictly prohibits floating columns if they are part of the primary lateral load-resisting system in seismic zones 3 through V. The primary lateral load-resisting system consists of the specific structural elements designed to resist horizontal earthquake forces and transfer them to the ground. The code offers one strict caveat. If the floating column is strictly a gravity-only member, the supporting transfer beam must be designed to withstand a massive 2.5 times force amplification. Mass jumps and floating columns force horizontal elements to act as dynamic shock absorbers. They are anatomically unsuited for this task and fail when overloaded. The structural traps we've examined, the twisting L shape, the drifting open story, and the severed load path of the floating column, all share a common flaw. They break the symmetry of the building. IS 1893 heavily penalizes these configurations. Engineers are mandated to perform rigorous response spectrum or time history analyses, which are advanced computational methods that evaluate how a structure responds to actual recorded ground motions over time, and they must apply massive force multipliers to the vulnerable connections. For an open, soft story, inject continuous reinforced concrete shear walls into the empty bays to instantly restore the stiffness ratio. For re-entrant corners, introduce a seismic separation joint. This cleanly slices the complex footprint into two independent rectangular structures that vibrate predictably. The core philosophy of seismic design is clear. The most efficient engineering solution is to eliminate the irregularity entirely during the architectural planning stage. Advanced dynamic analysis and mandatory force multipliers allow engineers to mathematically compensate for complex geometry. But when the ground shakes, a continuous, uniform load path remains a building's only true physical defense against collapse. To test your own designs against the exact code thresholds, use the IS 1893 irregularity and torsion calculators linked in the video description.